Good morning. Today is Tuesday the 28th, and it is the second day of our devotion looking at Luke chapter 9, 51 and following, which was our gospel text this last week. So your life, my life, our lives are incredibly busy, incredibly complicated. We get hit from all forms of the sectors around us: family, job, personal needs, etc. We simplify our lives, but that will not automatically assure us that we are able to accomplish our priorities. Sometimes our lives are dominated by the small things, the squeaks, if you will. We want to focus on the important things of life, but we get sidetracked by errands, honey-do lists, the sport activities, extracurricular events of our children, flat tires, leaky faucets, and even a rerun from our favorite TV show. It's important to first engage in our life's greatest priorities, and then let other demands of life fill up our lives. So, what are your priorities of life? This is a question that each of us will need to sit back and to answer. As a Christian, let me give you 4 items that I think ought to be our priorities. So number 1, I think our relationship with God. Jesus reminds his disciples that they are to love the Lord with all their heart, with all their mind, and with all their soul, and all their strength. So our relationship with God should be a priority. Number 2, Christians are called to love their neighbors like they love themselves. And that's a really difficult thing, especially when we have tense things pop up. Last week in Reading and around the world, it was Pride Week, and this is Pride Month, and there was some really high tenses going on. And then you have Roe versus Wade just this past week also pops up, and again, there's tons of tense things. And that's just to name 2 things in the news in the last week or so. But we're called to love our neighbors, not to be judgmental, but to love our neighbors. So that's 2. 1, our relationship with God. 2, love our neighbors. 3, we need to take time for our physical and emotional well-being, right? We need to take care of ourselves, both physically, mentally, emotionally. And number 4, it's important for us to nurture the core relationships of our lives. That would be our family, our church family, our close friends. Right? So our relationship with God, number 1, love thy neighbors. Number 2, take time for our physical and emotional well-being. Number 3 and 4, to nurture the core relationships of our lives. That's with our families, our church families, our close friends, and maybe even our work family too. So Jesus is not selling timeshares. He doesn't tell us that we have to accept his offer now, or it will never be offered again. At least, not at such a bargain rate. Jesus continually invites you and me to follow him and waits for us to make that a priority in our life. Jesus knows that when that happens, you and I will be the people that we were created to be. And the abundant life will be ours to live. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, help me to make you number 1 priority in my life. Number 1. Amen. Thank you for being with us today, and ponder those 4 priorities I gave you, and maybe you have some that might be a little different, but check out how you're doing that. What is your relationship with God like? You're making time for yourself, for your physical, mental health, making time for those core relationships with your family, and are you sharing love with your neighbor? Go in peace, serve the Lord. Think about those today. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. God bless.